In this presentation, we're going to talk about designing a kitchen, equipping a kitchen, what we have to think about and take into consideration when we're doing each of these things, what materials we use, what equipment we need. Later on, we'll look at a couple of established kitchen designs, and then towards the end, we'll look at some of the equipment that you can buy and the costs entailed in buying these pieces of equipment. So some of the newer trends in kitchen design, maybe not new. Most places now have refrigerated bases underneath the tables and underneath the line. Self-cleaning hoods and vents, they're a little bit more expensive, but they work fairly well. Combi technology, the combi ovens, for instance, that we have upstairs in the labs, where you can make your bread dough, you can put it in there, you can proof it, you can cook it all in one go pretty much. Induction heating, I want to touch on that maybe a little bit more later on. Kitchen equipment that now includes computers. I worked in a place a couple of summers ago with a friend of mine, and he basically controls all of his ovens from his office. So quite modern technology is coming in. And open kitchens are much more common now. It highlights the kitchen and the chefs, so people can look, customers can look and see the chefs working. Highlights specific pieces of equipment sometimes. Not so sure necessarily about a grill, but certainly a pizza oven, for instance. That would be one of the highlights, that the customer would be able to see the pizzas being made. The prep areas and the refrigeration is always in the back. In an open kitchen, you can't really do prep in front of the customers. Costs about 25% more than a conventional kitchen. You have to decide whether it's the right thing for you. Some of the downsides, noise levels, so you can't have the chefs shouting and swearing because obviously the customers hear that. The public sees the kitchen, so you have to make sure that your sanitation and stuff like that is good. You're not picking your nose while you're making a pizza where all the customers can see it. So just something to consider. The floor coverings in a kitchen are very important. They should be non-absorbent. They should be nice and easy to clean. Resistant to abrasive chemicals, because sometimes there's chemical spills, sometimes we're cleaning the oven and something drips down there, so they've got to be resistant to that. They've got to be non-slip material. You don't want people sliding all over the place. That's why we have to wear black non-slip shoes in the kitchen, for instance. Floor drains have to be placed in strategic places. I told you in one of the other presentations about Pool Court, where we used to power wash the kitchen on a Saturday evening. All the drains were down the center, and the floor was slightly slanted into the middle of those drains, so that all the water would just go down the drains in the center of the kitchen. And also floor coverings, the tiles should wrap the sides of the wall, so you usually find that round where the tiles meet the wall, it's a curved tile, so it doesn't actually have a crack there where debris and water and stuff like that can seep into the crack. So when you're selecting the right equipment, you have to think what's most efficient for you. You have to think about how much money you've got to spend, how much the equipment's going to cost, is it going to fit in with your operational costs, that sort of stuff. You also have to consider whether it's going to be gas or electric. Gas is obviously an instant heat, it's controllable heat. Electric, not so much. I've worked in the odd place that's got a small satellite kitchen that is electric, and it doesn't work very well. You have to think, will the equipment produce the food that you're wanting to produce fast enough? So, would electric be faster than gas? Probably not. You have to consider also, would I be better with two smaller stoves as opposed to one big one, where I can put two stoves in different areas and work that way? So that's something to consider. Think about parts and service for your equipment that you're going to buy. Is it going to be serviced? Do you have to pay for that? Can you get parts for it easily? It's great having one of these really super trendy ovens, but you have to send to Outer Mongolia every time something breaks down to get a part, so that's something to think about. And you can, obviously, we've talked about this already, buy used equipment. It can be pretty reliable if it's available. The most important thing, of course, is your menu. Your menu determines what sort of equipment you need to buy. You have a very, very simple menu. Maybe you don't have to buy a lot of expensive equipment. For a more complicated menu, then obviously you need more complicated and more expensive equipment. You have to project your volume of sales. Is it going to be a fixed menu? Is it a changing menu? Is it going to change every 6 months? All of those things have to be taken into consideration. The size of your menu, you know, one of those massive, great Italian a la carte things with 400 things on the menu, not very practical, but you need a lot of equipment to produce it as well. So you have to think about that. How fast you want the service to be. Can it be nice and relaxed and slower? Does it have to be something that's quick so that you can get quick turnover? Maybe turn over your 30-seat restaurant twice in an evening in order to break even, that sort of stuff. And think about nutritional awareness as well when you're making your equipment selection. You know, are you going to have to produce a lot of gluten-free, that type of stuff? Just something else to think about in the background. Also, when you're buying equipment, you have to think about the life expectancy. How long is it going to last for? Can you get parts replacement? Do you have to send away for them and wait months? The cost of the energy that you're going to use, gas versus electric, which is more expensive, which is going to work properly for the budget that you have. Is there a warranty on this stuff that you're buying, whether it's new or whether it's second-hand? So that's why we talked about leasing, because sometimes that can be a good option. Just the same as your menu determines what skill level of people you're going to need to produce your menu or the dishes on your menu. Kitchen's equipment is pretty much exactly the same sort of thing. If I have a really complicated menu, maybe I'm going to need complicated equipment. Kitchen's sometimes loaded with equipment that's seldom used. You know, that super ice cream machine that you only use, you know, once a year or whatever it may be, just wasted money. So select only what is necessary and efficient for your kitchen. Do all you need, maybe you just need a stovetop and some pots and pans. That's it. Maybe you just need fryers. So think about it. Don't go buying unnecessarily. So remember, you can also de-skill a job with equipment and make it pretty much foolproof. I always think about McDonald's and how they set up their kitchens. It's quite brilliant. You can use things like sous vide, cook chill, a conveyor oven, a conveyor grill. Pizza goes in one side, comes out the other end cooked. An auto crepe making machine, for instance, timed fryers, think McDonald's again, press a button, fries go down, it beeps, the fries come up when they're ready. So you can de-skill the job with equipment. So this slide and the next one are two examples of different types of kitchens that you can get. This is an open kitchen where the customers can sit down at the tables and see the chefs working in the background. It's not a particularly good picture, but it serves a purpose. I'm sure you've all seen one of these before. This is an example of a more traditional kitchen. Could do with a little bit of a clean in my opinion, but again, pretty typical of most places where we work. So the rest of this presentation is just basically pictures of different kinds of equipment that you can buy with approximate costs in there. We're going to be looking at broilers, convection ovens, fryers, ranges, combi ovens, infrared equipment, refrigeration, all of those kind of things, tilt skillets. So just have a look at it. It'll give you a kind of an idea of costs and what you can actually put in your kitchen if you were designing it for yourself.